The total cost of housing discrimination, racial terror, and climate change in California comes up to a whopping $559 billion.
Which equals out to how
A
many per person?
check of $223,200 per person. I want to announce that I am moving to California tomorrow in anticipation for my reparations check.
You move out to California, you're going to be spending most of that check on living out there.
Yeah, I know. It's a down payment on a house.
Facts.
That came out of one of his committees, right? That he set forth to see what was the best option in how to distribute something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that was on the table, as opposed to direct cash payments, was housing grants. And so I thought about that, especially in a place like California. Like, I guess you can talk nationally, but also specifically in California, where the value of the houses in the land is so inflated. Would it not be smarter to give people a way to regain that land without just straight up saying, okay, well, here's the money, do what you want with it, right? Because if land was the key to what was owed in terms of free Black Americans, if that was the main thing that was stole in housing discriminations and redlinings and mortgage discrimination, that kind of thing, then land is what's owed, not necessarily the money.
Mm-hmm.
Which I ain't gonna call for $200,000 now, for sure. Definitely not.
Well, my thing is, you give us the cash, we have ample time, considering that there is a lack of inventory on housing, that we can invest it individually, and then when the time is right.
But see, okay, I might give you $200,000 direct cash assistance, right? If I'm giving you housing grants, don't I have to reflect that of what the housing market is? So your housing grant may be $1 million. Your housing grant may be $1.5 million, maybe $2 million, so that you can actually buy the property.
Yeah.
Not just the house, the land that the house sits on.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't making no more of that. So if it was me, I probably would have advocated within the panel for the housing grants.
Well, what's also crazy
I guess
about
I
that
understand
is then being able to keep up with insurance and tax payments on your new home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some people are not going to prepare for that. They might not even think about it.
Why wouldn't you take your $200,000 and move to a cheaper state?
Oh, that's yes.
What? Man, what? Man, I'm moving to Vegas.
Vegas?
Moving to Vegas.
Moving to Mississippi.
Sure. Oh, Jesus.
Just kidding.
Move back to Ohio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm definitely not staying in a place where it's $1 million houses in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, I would say that the cash payment is better, I guess, in this case. Now, you do kind of run into the arguments like I'm sure you're going to bring up with people like Umar and the spending habits of people when they receive said cash. But, people are smart with the money that they receive.
That's not a very intelligent argument to me. Number one, you presume to know the spending habits of every Black person in America.
Right.
You presume.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is also the way that Black people consume, but that is at a normal rate of income, right? Like you're not taking into account what Black people do when they get large sums of money. What do Black people do when they hit the lottery? What do they do when they come into insurance money? When they come into an inheritance, which is very rare.
Yeah.
Right? Like what happens when you get a quick cash infusion, not just to Black people, but to anyone?
Thank you.
Right? You're going to have some people that blow it all. You're going to have some people that invest it. You're going to have some people that buy a house, some people that buy a car. Mm-hmm. That first of all, that is called nuance of thought. That's called not being a monolith. Right? So I'm not going to judge every Black person who would ever receive reparations off of the idea that we are the highest consumers, because we've never had a cash infusion like that into the community ever. There's not even a modelable. Well, I guess you paid Asian Americans reparations, so we can take that as an example. But at the same time, it's it's a little defeatist to say, oh no, even if they gave us the money that we owe us, we still wouldn't get right. So don't give it to us. Don't give us what's owed because you don't think we're going to do what's right with it. I'm sorry, that's not for you or for the people that owe you the money to decide. Mm-hmm. What's owed is what's owed. And I don't know, for me, I can't speak for Dr. Umar, but for me, I have never argued for equality of outcome because that's something that you can't determine. And when you start doing that, you'll end up hurting the people that you're trying to defend more than you're actually helping them. Mm-hmm. But I have fought for equality of opportunity. That is what that would be. See, when we're talking about housing discrimination, you're literally talking about depriving people of their opportunity to own land, to own a home. It's not fair. You are not giving them a fair shot to grow wealth, to pass it down to their children. The same way that most people who have garnered wealth in this country or some sort of inheritance to pass on to their children have done it by owning land.
You know what I was sitting here just thinking about? A lot of black people, when it comes to business, they have an issue because they don't have the resources. So even then, you'll probably likely see a spark in, I don't know how big the spark is going to be, but you'll see a spark in the black economy because you're going to start seeing people who now have the resources to build quality businesses do so and then employ black people.
You want to know why else that excuse don't make sense? It's because what happened when we got one, and I mean one, pandemic check? Savings went up, debt went down, people weren't spending as much in the economy. And then all of a sudden, no, we can't have no more checks. We can't have no more checks. No. And then when you get another one, it is going to be $400 this time. Because people weren't spending as much. They were saving more. Debts were coming down. For Lord's sake, people were able to afford a $400 emergency. Oh, God. Oh, God. Right? That's the example right there. Canada. Look at Canada. Look at what happened to their debt rates when they were paying their people $2,000 a month to stay home during the pandemic. Yeah. And their COVID numbers look better than ours. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't even make sense at a human level to say, oh, it's only going to make things worse, or it wouldn't help you at all to give you money right now because your mind is not right. That you wouldn't say that for anyone else, for any other community. That doesn't make sense
at all.
Nothing would change. Nothing. So having that extra money in your bank account, $200,000, doesn't help with your schooling opportunities. It doesn't help with any transportation problems you might have. It doesn't help with any living situation you might have, any debt.
Yeah, no, fuck that $10,000 at that point.
Come on now. Come on. What are you talking about? What the fuck what are we talking about here? We can't possibly be arguing that it's better not to give the money at all, to not get the money that we're owed at all, because some people will do something silly with it. Come on now. Come on now. Where did that argument come from? That's like talking to a kid. I know, because I said that same shit when I was a kid. When I didn't know shit about shit. So it's real silly hearing it coming out of his mouth. Mm-hmm. One person with that $200,000 can create one business that serves an entire community. Yep. Saying that you don't want that to happen, or even the potential of that, because, I don't think black people spend their money right. Yo, fam, first of all, you're not an economist. Even what you're saying, it feels like you're speaking off lived experience and anecdotes. That sounds like an argument that's built off of lived experience and anecdotes. What if I grew up in a black family that didn't play into consumerism? I would know nothing of what it is you're talking about. None. Nada. We not a monolith, y'all. We are not all representatives of the worst things in our community. It's a phenomena. No one else has to be monolithically present for all the negatives in their community except for black people. All of us have to wear the worst parts of our community simultaneously. It is the damnedest thing, even for other black folks. It's crazy.
I swear to you, if this ever did happen nationwide, I'm investing at least a little bit of that money into Frontier Airlines.
Oh my God.
And Spirit, maybe. We'll see.
Somebody need to put something into them.
You know?
All this money that we already gave to these niggas, you might as well get something back.
Sheesh. Turn Frontier into Soul Plane.
Yo.
Oh, man.
So what do you guys think about the reparations plan there in California? Is that something that you would like to see brought forth nationally? Give us your thoughts and comments in the prompt below. Make sure you come back next week for another video.
Absolutely. And we have other videos where we discuss people receiving money for various things. So make sure you check those out, as well as make sure you subscribe, because anytime we hear anything about reparations, we will be sure to clue you in.